Hello everyone! In this video, we'll go over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Blue Unit 6 words. You can follow along at home using your book. Let's get started! Our first word is accomplish. Accomplish is a verb and it means to do, make happen, succeed in, carry through. So when you accomplish something, you are finishing it successfully. It means you worked hard, you followed through, and you got the job done. The example says, let's work together to accomplish the task. A task is just something that you have to do. It might be like doing your homework or washing the dishes. Those could be tasks. And when you work together, you can accomplish or you can finish that task faster. Some other examples could be, we can accomplish the project if we work together. Or maybe I could say, he felt proud after he accomplished his goal. Or something like, he wants to accomplish something important this year. So anytime that you want to talk about the action of doing or finishing or making something happen, you can use this word accomplish to talk about that action. Our next word is apparent. Apparent is an adjective, and apparent means open to view, easy to understand, seeming to be true or real. I like to remember this word as being something similar to obvious. When something is apparent, you can see it very easily, you can understand it very easily. You know that that thing is true, or at least it looks like it is true. The example says, speeding was the apparent cause of the accident. So if there is a car accident, for example, and some people are trying to figure out why this accident happened, there might be a reason that looks correct or seems like the easy reason why it happened. So I can describe that as being apparent. If I look at this picture here, what do you think is apparent from this picture? Well, I think that it's apparent that she is upset. It's easy to see or understand that she's upset because she is crying. We might not know why, but we do understand or know that she's upset. In this picture here, I could say something like, the apparent cause of the spill was a loose bottle cap. So maybe this bottle cap was too loose and that's the reason why the water spilled out. So it's apparent, or it's easy to see, that that's the reason why. You can also use this word together with no or not for some kind of situation that maybe you don't understand easily or can't see why it's happening easily. So I might say something like, at first there was no apparent reason for the dog to bark. So we didn't understand why this dog kept barking. We couldn't see or understand a reason. So it was not apparent. Or there was no apparent reason. Our next word is capacity. Capacity can be used as a noun, and capacity is the amount of space that can be filled. It can also be an ability or skill. And it can also mean an office or role that someone has. The first example says, the stadium was filled to capacity for the championship game. So just like in this picture here, the stadium was totally full of people. So the amount that there was for people to be was totally full. When that situation happens, we can say that something is filled to capacity, or we can also use the word at together with it. So we could say something is at capacity. Another example of that is this picture here of a subway train totally full of people. So I could say the train reached full capacity, so no more people could get on. So the amount of people that can be on the train is already there. so nothing more can go on. It is full. We can also use this word to talk about an ability or a skill that someone might have, or most often that someone could or can have in the future. So I could make a sentence like, he has the capacity to become a strong leader. Maybe he is very good in leadership positions or in leading other people. So in that case, we would say someone has the capacity to become something. If someone is very good at playing the piano, for example, they might have the capacity to become a great pianist in the future. So they have that ability or they have that skill. Lastly, capacity can be an office or a role, kind of like a position that someone holds. So I could make a sentence like, he gave advice in his capacity as a coach. So his role is the coach, so that is his capacity. And because he's the coach, he has the ability to give advice to the players on the team. And this usage of the word capacity is probably the least common one. It's most often used to talk about how full something is, or maybe an ability or skill that someone has. The next word is civilian. And a civilian is a noun. It's a person not in a military, police, or firefighting force. So a civilian is just a regular person like you and me. We are not a part of the military like these people here. We are not police officers. We are not firefighters. We are just regular people. So you might hear this word when people are talking about soldiers or officers, not just ordinary people. The example sentence says, a team of civilians investigated the accident. So maybe there was an accident, and usually people like the police might be investigating an accident. But in this case, it was just regular people who were investigating what happened. Civilian is not a word that is just commonly used in everyday conversation. It's most often going to come up when we are talking about something related to war or soldiers or the military. So I could say something like, these soldiers helped the civilians find a safe place to stay. So they're used together in most cases. Or I could say something like, during the emergency, civilians were asked to stay away from the area. So the regular people were told to stay away from somewhere that might be dangerous. And who is telling them that information? Well, it's probably people who are in leadership positions like the military or government officials. We can also use civilian as an adjective, and it just means someone who is non-military. So they are not a part of the military, they're just regular people. The example says, no civilian casualties were reported. Another example could be something like, the army truck was not made for civilian use. So again, anytime you're talking about just regular people that are not a part of the military, we can use this word civilian to describe them, but they are often used together, not just a random story with the word civilian in it for no reason. These two things are related. And what I mean by that is that you wouldn't just use civilian as a synonym for person or for people. You wouldn't just switch out those words in your story because you want to use the word civilian. Civilian is used specifically in some kind of military situation where you want to explain that those people are just regular people. The next word is conceal. Conceal is a verb, and conceal means to hide or keep secret, to place out of sight. For example, I tried to conceal my disappointment with a smile. So when you're concealing something, you are trying to hide it and make people think something different from what is true, maybe. So here, maybe she is feeling disappointed, but she's smiling instead. She's pretending to smile so that she can conceal or hide how she really feels. Another example could be here. I could say, the rabbit tried to conceal itself behind the bushes. So it tried to hide itself. Or you could say something like, he tried to conceal the gift behind his back. So he's trying to hide it so that whoever is getting the gift will not see it. So anytime that you try to hide something or keep something secret or put it someplace where no one can see it, you can use this verb conceal to describe that action. The next word is duplicate. Duplicate can be used in a few different ways. As a verb, it means to copy exactly, to produce something equal to. So the two things that you make are exactly the same. The example says, a locksmith can duplicate almost any key. So people who use a key to get into their home might want to have more than one copy of that key in case they lose one. So in that case, you can get a duplicate key. So you can have it duplicated since we're talking about the verb here. It's to copy something. And we can also use duplicate as an adjective to mean exactly like something else. The example says, my friend and I came up with duplicate plans. So there are these two people that were making plans, and the plans that they made turned out to be duplicate. So they were the same. Either on purpose or accidentally, their plans turned out to be the same. Lastly, we can use this word as a noun, and it is an exact copy. The example says, he hung up a framed duplicate of a famous painting in his office. So the painting that he put up in his office is not the original painting. It is a duplicate painting or a copy of the original one. Something like in this picture here. This artist is drawing or painting a duplicate of a famous artwork. It's not the original one, it's just a copy of it. So this word duplicate, the meaning is always the same, just the way that we are using it is what is changing. So please remember, when we use it as a verb, we're talking about the action. So you're actually making the copy of something. So now you have a duplicate copy of it. When we use it as an adjective, we are using it to describe something that has turned out to be the same. So in this sentence here, it was the plans that were duplicate or the same. And when we use it as a noun, we are now talking about the actual thing. The actual painting is called the duplicate, or this paper here is called the duplicate. Over here, these are the duplicates. So the opposite of that is, of course, original. So whenever you're using this word, think about how you want to use it in your sentence, as the action, as the adjective, or as the noun. Our next word is keen. Keen is an adjective, and keen can mean a few different things. It can be having a sharpened edge, so something that is sharp. It can be quick and sharp in thought or in sight, hearing or smell. So we're talking about senses, the 5 senses, or in this case, 3 senses here. And it can also be eager, someone who is very excited. So the example sentence says, birds of prey have keen eyesight. A bird of prey is a bird like an eagle that hunts other animals or creatures. So they usually have very good or very sharp eyesight. They can see very far away. That way they can find their prey easily. So we are using keen here to describe their eyesight, since we know keen means that they have some sharp sight. So I can say the eagle has keen eyesight. Or if we're talking about hearing, for example, I can say something like, my dog has keen hearing and barks at quiet sounds. So his hearing is very sharp and good. And we can also use this word, as we said before, as having a sharpened edge. So something like a knife, for example. So I could say, the knife had a keen edge that could slice the rope. This usage of keen is not as common as the other two ways that we use it, however. So you might not see this way of using it very often. The last way that we use this word is as eager. Someone is excited or really wants to do something. So I could say here, he was keen to join the soccer team. So he was excited, he really wanted to do that. Our next word is provoke. Provoke is a verb, and provoke means to annoy or make angry, to stir up, to do something in order to get a response. So when you provoke someone, you are doing or saying something that makes them angry, annoyed, or upset. It can also mean causing some kind of reaction to happen. The example says, name calling is bound to provoke an argument. So if you start calling someone bad names or funny names, then what's probably going to happen is that you are going to provoke an argument. You're going to get that response. That's what's going to happen. You're going to make someone angry. So another example could be here in this video. You can see the little black cat is provoking the yellow cat, and then the yellow cat ends up attacking the black cat. So I could say he provoked the yellow cat, or the yellow cat attacked because he was provoked. He was made angry or he was made annoyed. And another example could be here in this picture. I could say, teasing your brother may provoke an argument. Or here the little boy is provoking his sister. So his sister might get angry at him. In this picture too, you can see that the man is provoking the bull. So that might also cause some kind of response. It might make it angry. Another time that this word might be used is when we're talking about a villain from a story. So you could say, the villain tried to provoke the hero into fighting. Or you can imagine maybe if there is a beehive and someone kicks that beehive, that would provoke the bees, or it would make them very angry. It would stir them up so that they start moving and chasing you and probably attacking you. Our next word is spurt. Spurt can be used as a verb, and it is to shoot out quickly in a stream, to show a burst of energy. For example, we watched the runners spurt for the finish line. So spurt can mean that something is shooting out very quickly, like in this video here. The man was shaking the ketchup bottle to try to get the ketchup out, but it shot out very quickly and unfortunately it got on his shirt. So I could say, the ketchup bottle spurted onto my shirt and left a stain. Or another example could be here. I could say, a spurt of water shot out from the broken pipe. So in this case, I'm using it as a noun. And spurt here is still the same meaning, a sudden short stream of fluid, a quick burst of activity. Just the way that we are using it is changing. So now the spurt is this thing here, it's not the actual action. This other example says, my shirt was stained by a spurt of ketchup, just like in this video over here. So we can use this word in both ways, either as a verb or as a noun. Here in this last example, you can see that there is someone squeezing a lemon. So I might say something as a verb. I could say, juice spurted out from the lemon when I squeezed it. It's the action. Or if I wanted to use it as a noun, I could say something like, a spurt of lemon juice got on my shirt when I squeezed the lemon. You can use it for any time that something suddenly shoots out, or when someone has a sudden show of energy. They suddenly have energy and do something maybe very suddenly or very quickly. The next word is undoing. Undoing is a noun, and undoing is a bringing to ruin or destruction, the cause of ruin, or unfastening or loosening. But the first way of using this word is the most common one. So undoing is something that causes a person or a plan to fail, so it doesn't work out. For example, idle gossip was the cause of their undoing. So imagine if there is a group of friends and people in that group were gossiping. They were telling each other's secrets. Of course, that's not a good thing to do. So that can be the cause of their undoing. That can be the cause why they failed, why they are not friends anymore. So you can kind of think of undoing as you are breaking away from something because it didn't work out. It can be a friendship, it can be a plan, or anything really. Another example here could be, the villain's pride was his undoing in the end. So whatever plan this villain had in the story, because he was very prideful and thought that he was the best and the smartest, he ended up failing. So his pride was his undoing, or the reason that he failed. Another example could be, forgetting to practice was the team's undoing during the game. So maybe this soccer team didn't practice before the game, and because of that, they ended up failing. So forgetting to practice was their undoing. It was the reason that they failed. And as we saw in the definition, undoing can also just be unfastening something or making something loose. So we're loosening it. So like in this picture here, there is this box with the ribbon. And I could say the undoing of the ribbon made the package open. So when we loosened this ribbon, the package opened. Our next word is vast. Vast is an adjective and it means very great or very large. For example, a vast ocean stretched into the distance. The ocean is something that is often described as being vast because it is very large and you often can't see the end or any land for a long time. So it's described as being vast. Something vast is extremely large. It can be large in size, in space, in amount, or in number. So another example here could be a desert. So I could say a vast desert stretched out for kilometers in every direction. It looked like there was no end. I could also talk about just some plains like this one here, or grasslands are often described as being vast because it looks like they're very large or they go on for a long time. Another thing that's often described as being vast is outer space because it goes on almost forever basically, since we can't reach the end. And as I mentioned, vast can also be something that has a lot of things. So I could say the library had a vast collection of books. There was a very great or very large amount of books. So anything that is large in size, space, amount, or number can be described as vast. The final word is withdraw. Withdraw is a verb, and withdraw means to pull out or remove, to move back or away, retreat. So when you withdraw, you are pulling something out, you're taking it away. It can also be just going back, like backing away from a place or some kind of situation. The example says, "Is it too late to withdraw from the race?" So imagine that someone is going to run in a race, but then they hurt their ankle. So I could say, she decided to withdraw from the race because her ankle hurt. So the reason that she is backing away or she's not doing it anymore is because her ankle hurt. So whenever you are choosing to not do something or back away, back out of something, it is withdraw that you can use to describe that situation. Here too, you can see that the turtle, its head came out, but then its head went back inside of its shell. So I can say, the turtle will withdraw its head into its shell when it feels scared. It will move back or it will go away into something. And we often use this word withdraw whenever people are getting money out of the bank. So I could say, he went to the bank to withdraw money from his account. So he is pulling out money or he's removing money from his bank account and he's taking it. So that's why we use withdraw to describe that situation too. And that's all for this video. We went over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Blue Unit 6 words. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye!